or Lakin, if you don't mind. Thank you. I see that the record was hit. Awesome. So again, my name is Heather Lettow. I am a senior director. I lead team Zaya Adventure, and I am a part of Team Fire, Zaya Fire. And I am one of Erica's direct frontline reps. Today, I want to talk a little bit about goal setting and kind of the specifics and ins and outs of it. Goal setting is one of my favorite things because it's something I do every day in the work that I do in my career. I am a licensed professional counselor and a marriage and family therapist. And so goals is something that is a pivotal, integral part of what I do. It is not just that we hope that something happens, it's that we're planning for something, or we have a thought of what we want when we're moving forward and how to get there. So just a show of hands, no one has to unmute themselves, but how many of you, oh gosh, I wish I could see everybody. How many of you have goals that you've set for yourself with Zaya? And please keep your hands up. I see you, Jennifer. Let's see, Caitlin, Allison, great, Leah, Bree, great, awesome. Okay, so with goals, oftentimes, so when we think about goals, or a lot of the time when I'm talking with people and they think of goals, it's kind of like this, I set a goal and then I feel really, really frustrated, like I'm not going to get there. And so with goal setting, it's really, really important to break it down. So we're partying over there, Heather. Hold on. There we go. Awesome. So when I think about that frustrating goal, I think about New Year's resolutions. So show of hands, how many of you have set a New Year's resolution and bombed it within the first month? Great, cool. All right. So oftentimes we're very excited about the thing that we want to do. We get excited about the potential. We get excited about what can happen. And then what ends up happening is we've set this big goal with no real measurable outcome, no real measurable data to help us break that down. And so we go at something, we go at it super hard, which is awesome. But when we look at our resources of things that we have to help us propel forward into being successful, one of those things is energy. And so I'm not just talking woo-woo energy. I'm talking about your physical, mental, emotional energy. If you're setting a goal for yourself that is way up here and you only have 20% capacity, is this goal that's way up here, is this a realistic goal? No. It's something that long-term you can get there, but in the short term, that's going to be really challenging. What ends up happening is people oftentimes, they'll set this really big goal and then they'll feel super defeated because it feels so out of reach. This is where we start going into breaking things down. Sorry, I have hiccups all of a sudden. This is where we start going into breaking things down. So goals are not just kind of that post and pray mentality where we're like, oh man, I'm hoping I'm going to get all those sales. And if I just post this thing, then I'm going to hit 1,000 PV. That's not realistic. Or I'm not going to host any parties or I don't have any parties on the books and I have barely anybody in my VIP group and I'm going to make $5,000 in sales this month. Perhaps not this month. And that's okay. Yes, you can hustle. But at the end of it is it realistic? Do you have the energy? Do you have the resources? Again, not unrealistic. entirely. It's just that it's going to take more effort. And if you're someone who is really sensitive to that goal setting mentality, it's you have to look at the little wins. So when we're looking at goal setting, we're looking at something that is a specific goal. It has a time frame. It is measurable and it's challenging. Every goal should have a challenge to it. If I'm like, I'm going to go drink a glass of water today, like I hope to goodness I'm drinking a glass of water. But it might be that I have to drink, I'm supposed to drink 100 ounces of water every single day. Well, I kind of have to plan that out a little bit because like that, if I'm not paying attention to it, if I'm not intentional about it, I can totally miss it or chug it at the end of the day and end up being up all night. So when we're breaking down those goals, it's a specific goal. And then you're looking at what's your time frame. Then look at your objectives. So every objective is something that is measurable. So it is not just, I want to hit executive, which is an awesome, awesome goal. What do you need to do to get there? And that is a consistent effort of hitting objectives. So it is not that I just did one thing on the list and I go, check, that's done. I move up to the next. It's kind of a building block, but you still have to come back down to that original and just keep doing that consistently. So Erica does a really, really great job at that consistency challenge. Oftentimes though, that consistency challenge, which is like gold, we don't tend to look at that unless there's an incentive to it. Let's be real. So I'm sure that 80% of people see that consistency challenge, the little tracker, mine's over there, but see that little tracker and they're like, oh yeah, cool. But when she like tags something to it, like a $50 gift card, whoa, I want that $50 gift card. If we're going for something because we're looking for that $50 gift card or whatever the winning is it really that goal that we originally set out for is that motivating, that why? That consistency challenge is a beautiful version of business objectives when it comes to direct sales. So it is did I do this today? Did I touch this? Did I reach out to this many people? What have you? And then checking those things off. So when looking at direct sales, that consistency challenge, awesome at that measurable, time specific, and challenging goal setting opportunity. Let's go back to that New Year's resolution. So part of my Zaya story was that I joined Zaya as a reinforcer for my weight loss journey. And I'm a mom of 3. I've been married to my husband for 11 years. And I really have always struggled with weight. And especially after my second daughter and struggling with postpartum anxiety, I put on like an extra 40 pounds on top of what I was already struggling with. And was really struggling to really take back my life. I was having a hard time navigating a lot of the things that I enjoyed. I could still do them. I just couldn't do them to the extent that I had. And the reality is I was still doing them, but the extra weight that I was struggling with is something that was holding me back. So when I set out on my health journey, I didn't go, I'm planning on losing 50 pounds. No, I set my goal at, I'm going to drink water for 2 weeks. That was it. I'm going to drink water for 2 weeks. Okay, cool. I'm going to go to the gym every day after I drop off the kids from daycare before I go into the office. Cool. And it was a 30-minute. I had to move for 30 minutes, 5 times a week. Didn't matter if I was walking, gardening, cleaning, weightlifting, elliptical, a spin class. Didn't matter. 30 minutes. That was it. I had to log 30 minutes. If I didn't log 30 minutes in the morning, I had to do it at night. And my struggle with that is if I work out at night, I don't sleep. So you bet your butt I was doing it in the morning, because my natural consequence was if I was doing it at night, I couldn't sleep. And I was hitting those objectives every day. because they were important, because getting healthy was important to me, and I wasn't making the excuse that I'll do it tomorrow. It was literally, it's 30 minutes of my day. I could sit and do crunches in between like commercial breaks, like on commercial breaks. So, and then it went from there. I went to meeting with a, sorry guys, metabolic doctor, and having those appointments every week or every month, I'm sorry, and so forth. So I was building on this goal that in the beginning, it started with one small measurable thing. And that was it. Because otherwise that goal of losing 50 pounds was so overwhelming. And then now I am 55 pounds lost, and not always the most consistent, but it doesn't feel as daunting because I was able to build on those objectives to then hit my goal. That piece of consistency, when you're showing up and you're doing the same thing repetitively, it becomes second nature. So the saying is, it takes 3 weeks to make or break a habit. And so that 3 weeks of making or breaking a habit, that's 21 days to show up and to do something every single day towards whatever your goal is. And it makes it easier. So when you're running a, if your plan is to run a marathon, you don't just show up to the start line and expect that you're going to cross 26.2 miles when you haven't trained. But those first miles and that buildup is going to be really hard. And then it's going to become easier and easier every time you do it. So in building your goals, it's setting a goal. What is a realistic but challenging goal? Breaking it down into objectives. What are some things that you can actively touch, whether that's every day or every week or what have you? It is being able to look at that goal, accept the goal, that this is going to be difficult. This is actually what I want. It's that why. We hear if the why isn't, if you think about your why and your why isn't strong enough for you to get up and do the thing, then your why isn't good enough. Then you really don't want that why. So it's readjusting that why. The why is your goal. If your goal is, I want to be able to make my car payment, and you don't actively hit your objectives, is making my goal, or is my goal of making my car payment really, really, really my goal? Is that really my why? Is that something that lights me up, that does give me fire, does give me passion? Is it something that like I really truly believe in? And if the answer is no, then adjust it. Your goal can change. So it's accepting that goal, having the ability to hit it. So it is being creative with your resources and your time. If you can't do something due to whatever ability or the not having the capacity or not having that resource, adjust it a little bit so that you do have that capacity and you do have that resource so that you can come back. That is a roadblock, but it doesn't have to be the thing that withholds you. It's just that has to be a creative thing that you address. So I own my own private practice. And again, I'm a mom and I have 3 kids, and one of my kids has special needs. So between school and 3 different therapists for her and my private practice, and then Zaya, like I feel oftentimes really stretched thin while on top of trying to maintain relationships with people, whether that is my relationship with my significant other, or if that is the relationships that I have with my friends or even my downline. And I don't always have the capacity to give everything what I want, all the things that I want. But what I can do is I can readjust things as necessary. I have to pace my weeks because otherwise I'll burn at both ends and I'll burn out. And so in doing that, in burning at both ends, what ends up happening is that it takes me more time to rebuild my energy to then move forward again. So if I don't have the ability, whether that's the resources or the energy or the time or whatever, how do I then navigate a way so that I can be creative in working with that? Not moving past it. I can't go from like A to C without hitting B, but how do I get creative with B? So if we're thinking about Zaya, wanting to do giveaways. Okay, so I have a monthly, like right now I have a September customers party in my back office that people who are my customers order from, which is awesome. That party, I didn't make a money. I do giveaways from those rewards. Every gift card that I win, I don't use that on myself. I wish I did. I use that on my downline. I use that on my customers, things like that. It's a way of me being creative with finances because I don't have all the extra. And then making sure that your goals, that don't have conflicting goals that make the goal that you're trying to hit impossible. So it's kind of like the making excuses. I'm from, my heritage is very Polish. So if I think about like my goal of losing weight, and I also think about my heritage and what's traditional with Polish families is, I can hear my great grandmother, like she's very much like, you too skinny, eat, eat all the things, right? Okay. And then also in a Polish family, if you don't take seconds or thirds, it's an insult. Well, when you have a Polish woman plating food, it makes it very, very difficult when you're trying to portion control to then hit that second and third. I have to have a boundary with that or else I can't hit my other goal, but it's also trying to navigate something so that my goal doesn't feel impossible. Because if I have that mentality that I grew up with, or that is a part of my family's culture, when I'm also having this other goal that conflicts with it, I have to pay attention to how to balance those things. Also with your goals, it's motivation. Is your goal motivating? So again, it goes back to that why. Why do I want to do this? When you're struggling on those days where you're like, screw this, but I just want to throw it in the towel. Why are you still doing it? What's the point? What's the purpose? Is it something that you believed in? Where did that go? What's changed? How are you looking at this? Oftentimes what I see when people are feeling discouraged is they're looking at again, if we're looking at something that, yes, is measurable, PV. Cool. PV is a good measurable goal. But if their goal wasn't originally to make X amount of money, but it was to lean into the community, but you're only focusing on PV, you've lost the point. The point is to have fun. And when you're looking at someone like a sale, someone can feel that, when you're walking around somewhere and the salesperson's following you around, they're trying to show you all these things. And you really don't have a relationship with them, but they just keep pushing stuff on you. Like, that doesn't feel very good. If you're about the community, then lean into what the community aspect is and have fun with it. Be part of it. Create and cultivate your own community within your community. So what is the motivation? Is it still motivating? Is it still part of your why? Your choices. The choices that you're making today are the things that are going to impact directly your success within any business, any goal that you set. And so if I chose to just post and pray instead of actively building relationships with people, am I really doing the thing that I want to do? If I'm just post and praying and I'm not hitting my sale goal, can I really be that angry when I'm not actively pursuing something that I'm saying is important to me? How much effort are we putting into things? I had a conversation with a friend of mine today who was really, really struggling with not being in the life space and the that they want to be in right now. So just realizing, hey, I didn't do these things 5 years ago, and like I'm kicking myself. And then really being upset about it and wanting to be at this place now, but then not putting the effort into actively pursuing it, but still expecting it. So again, it's kind of like that post and pray mentality, or that like just kind of hanging back and letting things happen, that kind of like Jesus take the wheel mentality. We are the cruise directors of our lives. And so like you can't go anywhere unless you turn the vehicle or turn on the motor or whatever, press the gas down. We don't just get to our destination without some steering and maneuvering. And then persistence. I don't know about you guys, but the last couple months have been really hard. Whether that is because that school is starting or what have you, whether people are just burned out on social media, whether people are just tired because life and their capacity for just people is too much. It's just been challenging. And so persistence is not just showing up every day and like, hey, here's this new item and it's new release Wednesday. Persistence is showing up and in that face of challenge or in that face of struggle, staying optimistic in moving forward. If we are looking at someone else's behavior and someone else's choice as a direct reflection of our success, we are putting too much power and control into somebody else's hands. So showing up, be persistent, but persistence is so much of that. Showing up every day and showing up with that good attitude and reframing the challenges that we're coming across. Because if we allow for someone to take our fire or take the wind out of our sails, we are giving someone so much power and control. And then we have to go back and go, was my why strong enough? Was my goal strong enough? If someone's no or someone's behavior or someone's choice wrecked me. It is okay if we have to hang back and lick our wounds and take a break. But with that persistence, it is saying, yes, this hurt, or yes, this was hard, and still showing up. These with goal setting, when you are consistent with your goals, when you keep showing up, when they are measurable, tangible, time sensitive, specific, these are high performance habits. And there are so many really, really wonderful books out there that are self-help books on high performance. There's a lot of really great business books. I know that Erica Lakin and I have chatted quite a bit about high performance books and things that are really helpful with like personal development or even business stuff. But this is a very basic high performance habit, which encompasses so many things. It encompasses consistency. It encompasses reality checking. It encompasses our self-awareness. And again, it's kind of that realizing like, am I in a place that I can take this thing on right now? So paying attention to those things. Oftentimes what we also look for is we look for praise and feedback from other people about our goals and what we are doing, whether or not we're doing well enough. And those supports and that communication and that affirmation is really, really wonderful. However, if we are relying on the feedback from somebody else to tell us that we are doing good enough, instead of recognizing the little wins along the way, recognizing I am touching my objectives every day, that will help me towards my goal, and leaning into those things and giving those things to yourself. If you are only leaning into someone's feedback or praise or affirmation, that's not helpful to you because you're not recognizing your own effort. You're giving that other person power and control over your goals and how you feel like you're doing, versus looking at your goals and your objectives and the work that you're doing and saying, I'm doing this. I'm really proud. I had a really hard week and I'm doing it anyway. Or I had a really hard week and I couldn't hit 100 no's, but I'm really proud that I got 75, or I'm really proud I got 20 when I didn't think I was even going to be able to do 1. It is that recognizing that it's not, we don't need someone else to tell us whether or not we're doing the good things. We have to then look at our goals and objectives, lean into those, and see whether or not we're showing up. If you're looking at those goals and objectives and you're not hitting, we're going to use the example of executive. You wanted to make executive by November and you don't hit that goal. Okay, yeah, be bummed. Please, it's okay. Be bummed. You're kind of sad about it. But what did you learn? It is not moping around and saying, oh, I just didn't do this thing and I'm just so disappointed and like, gosh, I don't know why I do this and I just want to give up. Like, you feel that, man. Your team feels that. Your downline feels that. Your teammates within your group feel that, and it sucks the energy out. It's great to feel frustrated and disappointed, but what did you learn? What did you take from it? Being strength-based. We live in a society where we are in this place all the time, and we are raised on this, that we always have to look at what's not going right. What am I not doing well enough? What am I not good enough? And I'm sure that 90% of the people on this call have that feeling of not good enough. And that comes out often when we feel like our goals are not being hit fast enough. Or we got that no when we were trying to sign up a rep and we were like really gunning for them because they're on our dream team and we thought that they really were looking forward to it. I had that 3 times this month. And so super, super frustrating, but then taking a step back and going, man, that really sucked. That really wasn't that great. Like, I'm kind of bummed about it. Feel the feeling and then look at, what did you learn? You learned persistence. You learned flexibility. You learned that if you are your authentic self, people come out of the woodwork, whatever that is. What did you learn from that experience? Use that in your toolbox moving forward. So for the sake of time, and I know, wow, I feel like I'm just kind of like running through this. Just kind of a recap, goal setting. So when we talk about our why are we doing something? Why are we leaning into Zaya? Why did we join Zaya? What do we want to get out of it? What is your why? That is a goal. That's an example of a goal. If you say that you really want something, is that a goal? It's not a goal unless you set objectives and then actively show up and do those objectives consistently. If it doesn't feel like it's that important anymore, adjust. If you hit a roadblock, get creative, do something a little bit different, do something a little out of the box. You have your big team and you have your little teams. And so within your little teams, whether it's your teammates directly or your upline or Zaya Fire itself, let's say you're really struggling with something. This is your roadblock. I really need fresh ideas on how to motivate or how to do giveaways within my group, but I don't have a lot of money to do it. Okay. And no one really, like, you don't have to do a giveaway. I'm just using this as an example. So I don't have a lot of money. I'm a new rep, or I'm really struggling or going through a divorce and like finances are really tight, but I really want to do Zaya because like I'm making money with it, whatever it is. I want to be able to give giveaways to my customers. What are some great ways that I can do that on the cheap? You're just being creative, moving around that obstacle, and utilizing that. Maybe it's that you got a birthday gift card from Zaya. Cool. It's a $10 gift card when we get them, or if we get them. And so instead of using it on you, use it as a giveaway. You don't have to purchase anything. You just give that gift card like coupon to somebody, right? So it's getting creative in that phase. And then being strength-based and strength-focused. What did we learn from something? What is the thing that I'm really good at? Lean into that. I will never be like Erica, and I know that, and we are very similar people. But Erica and I have different energy. We are both go-getters. The way that we go about things are very different. And so, like, if I look at Erica and I'm like, I want to be Erica, I want to do what Erica does. The reality is, I will fall on my face because she and I are very different people. We have different resources. We have different energy. We live in different states. Like, we are just so different. But I can be me. That quote of like, be the youest you that you can ever be. If I'm my truest self, I can't fail. And so that's one of the things when I'm looking at my goals with Zaya or friendships or my relationship with my husband or whatever, I can't pretend to be someone that I'm not and then expect that I'm going to hit my goal. I'm going to fall on my face. You have to be your truest self. Lean into what is realistic for you. And maybe it's that, yeah, you're a brand new rep and you want to hit exec. Cool. So we have these great, wonderful people that triple rank, and it's amazing. Does everybody triple rank? No, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean that it's a fail, but it's a, what do I need to get there? How do I do it? And how can I do it being myself? And leaning into, again, that specific time sensitive, measurable, challenging goal and objective, and breaking those things down, and then not beating yourself up when you're not hitting that in the time frame. You might not hit your goal this month, but next month you're going to hit that goal because you were so close last month and you could just feel it. It's that fire that when you really want something, you're going to keep going and you're going to be persistent, even in that face of frustration. So again, breaking down those goals into measurable objectives that are motivational, that, putting in the effort and being persistent about, and being strength-based. Don't beat yourself up over it. Does anybody have any questions for me? I feel like I'm just kind of like rambling at this point. Okay. Well, for the sake of time, thank you everybody for being here. If you have any questions, if you want any specific resources, or if you're wanting to like hash out goals, objectives, things like that, please feel free to reach out to me individually. I would love to help. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you all have a really, really great evening. Take care of yourselves, be gentle with yourselves, and have a great night. Bye, guys.